Hey, everybody. It is Zip Mouth Motivation. We are here again. We are ready. We are definitely ready. No, we are ready to get into this conversation. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm having some technical difficulties, like just that fast. That's crazy.
It
One.
is okay. You're having technical difficulties. I'm having toddler difficulties. So, okay.
You know, that is 100% how it be. It's like you think you got it going on, and then it be like, no, no.
Oh, Lord Jesus. When do when do kids finally stop whining?
I don't know.
Never?
I
Never? Oh, okay.
See, I got big kids, and they still be whining. Like literally, they still be whining. Like for real, like they boys so they still be like going in. It's kind of funny. So don't be looking forward to none of that. That probably won't happen. That probably won't happen. Just enjoy it though. But I'll tell you this though, as kids get older, it gets funner. Like it really does. Right now, it just be seeming like what like y'all hungry again? Like I just cleaned this up. Y'all just tore this up again. And then it's
That's
like
how I
you.
feel.
It's like I can't keep yelling. Like I cannot keep yelling over and over and over again. So it's like. I'm gonna just do a pass on that because I'm not about to keep yelling at y'all about nothing. So what we finna do is this. This is what we finna do. I'm gonna go in the room. I'm gonna hide, and y'all can do whatever it is y'all gonna do. Okay, and then you just go in the room and hide, and you come back out the room, and then you say, "Now everybody go to bed." So when they go to bed, you just politely put your music on, grab your glass of wine, and just
Okay.
enjoy.
Have me a mimosa for sure. Cause
For real, for real. So I'm gonna introduce my guest. This is Miss Holly. Is it? It just said Sisa.
Sisa.
Sisa, and she has the podcast Morning Mimosas. And I love that podcast. I don't know if y'all haven't seen it yet, but this is my new sister in the podcast world. When I'm talking about celebrating, sharing, just a real genuine person, like from the moment we had an interaction, she's been a real genuine person. But she is also a mother, if you heard us talking about that, and an
Okay.
activist in the area that she lives in. But I'm gonna let her talk to y'all because I like when people tell their own story because I might tell it wrong. So you got the floor.
Hello, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. As you said, my name is Holly Sisa. I am the founder of Morning Mimosas. We are a podcast that we put value in criminal justice, promoting healing and education for our Black community. She also stated that I am a mom of two. I have Irish twins, 3-year-old Serenity and 2-year-old Sincere. They are 9.5 months apart. Ladies, don't do it. Just warning. Um, as far
Morning.
as warning. Just I had to say it in my African accent. Big warning. But as far as my podcast goes, so what we are doing is trying our best to solve cold cases and or missing person cases of African Americans, and then doing that, we're actually going to be doing it just like you guys see on like the ID channel and everything else. So stay tuned for that. The documentaries are coming. And I'm hoping that my new sister in the podcasting world will actually help me with those documentaries. I haven't asked her yet, but asked her on live. So
No, no,
um,
don't say yes, no. Of course I will. You know I'm gonna help. You know I'm gonna help.
I appreciate it. And then my first big project, also helping wrongfully convicted brothers and sisters. I'm actually currently working on one in Tulsa, Oklahoma, which I'm not from. I'm from North Carolina, but I live in Denver. And
Okay.
so I'm trying to help him get out of prison because he's serving a life sentence for car insurance fraud. Um,
Hold
yeah,
on.
girl.
Rewind. Rewind.
Yeah.
A life
Mhm.
sentence for car
Yeah.
insurance fraud.
Yeah, you heard me right.
Okay, was it a
Plus,
lifetime? Like what? What? Wait.
yeah, it's
Okay.
it's it's a it's a huge scandal. I'm about to get some interesting documents pertaining to that. Yeah, because I'm gonna expose every single person that gave him that life sentence. He got a life sentence plus 25 years for
A
car
life
insurance fraud.
sentence plus 25 years for
Yes.
car insurance fraud.
Yep.
For fraud. He did not
Yep.
hurt anybody. He didn't unalive nobody. Nothing happened to a child or nothing like that. Car insurance fraud. That is really strange. That is really strange. So they put him in prison. I'm just blown away. Like I'm really blown away by this.
Yeah.
I, I mean, now I've heard people getting steep sentences for fraud. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Well,
Hmm.
let me take that back. I've heard of African Americans getting steep sentences for fraud
Yep.
because if you do a white collar crime, then you don't get a steep sentence. You get a slap on the wrist. But he's in prison right now on a life sentence for car insurance fraud, plus 25 years.
Yep. And he's been in there 6 years so far. Um, but I'm gonna damn sure make sure it doesn't go to 10.
Right. That's
'Cause
wild. So what made you decide like this is what I want to do? Like I want to become an activist. I'm going to help incarcerated people who really did not commit their crimes come out. I'm going to search through African American cold case crimes and see if we can find clues. What made you do that?
well, so my background story is when I was 15, I lost my firstborn, Jemiah. She was drowned, um, and her case is still unsolved after almost 15 years.
I'm sorry.
So, um, so my motivation is mostly like grief, being a mom and
Right.
knowing what other parents feel as far as not getting justice for their kid and years just lingering with no answers.
Right.
So
Right.
I, I don't want other parents to linger no more. So I will be the voice of those parents who have lost children because I've been there,
Right.
and give them a sense of healing and justice because they deserve that. And then also, let's be honest, we don't want to murder on the street either. So there's also that.
Right, right, because that's what happens a lot of times. If people generally, um, in the cold case trials, people don't get caught, and that person who got in trouble for the case ends up spending the rest of their life in prison for something that they did not do, or it's just no justice at all.
Yes.
So, how long have you been working on projects like this?
So I actually started doing this November of last year.
Okay,
Um, Last year was a huge wake up call for me as far as like family. I lost 2 aunts, 2 uncles, and my mom's cousin all last year. Um,
wow,
and that grief was just overbearing. It was
right,
overbearing. Um, so I just decided to, turn my grief into something positive.
right,
So it was more so around the time that Takeoff was murdered,
mm-hmm.
when I really wanted to, put this more in perspective because I don't know, it just doesn't make sense. Like we're, whether you believe in God or not, we were promised like eternal life. You feel me? Dying at 33, 45, 56. That's, those are very young. We were supposed to live like how Cecily Tyson lived, and, Sidney
Mm-hmm.
Poitier, they lived to be 97,
Right,
99, like 95. We're supposed to live that long, but we're not.
right, right,
So if I can be a voice in the community to eradicate that, because obviously the police are not, then I will do that. And I am doing that.
right. Why do you feel that the police and I know this is just, like these are your emotions. Why do you feel like when African Americans um are unalive that the police don't take it serious or maybe they do take it serious. You know what I'm saying? But why do you feel it's not like such a rush to find out what happened? Can we crack this case? Who did this? You know what I'm saying? Why do you feel like that?
Um, well, it could be, a number of things. Some black folks believe that The police are just, are the biggest gang in the world. And them seeing us dead is probably what they want, which is, I mean, it's a really hard thing to say out loud, but it's kind of the truth. If I can use what is an example? Gabby, that pretty white girl that was murdered by her boyfriend. Um,
I know you're talking about
well,
the
even
name.
though tech, even though technically they dropped the ball with that one too, because they could have arrested him, but they found him unalive too. But um, they were quick to like jump on stuff like that. But we have a beautiful girl, Miss Shanquilla Robinson, Charlotte, North Carolina. May she
Right,
rest in beautiful peace. I mean, where's the motion with the United States government, the Mexican government? Like, it's just we're just not seen. Like, it's just okay. The parents buried her. Now they just move on. Like, the thing that makes me really angry about, especially when it comes to murder, people just be like, oh, that's really sad. Like, social media, oh, that's so sad. Justice, they'll do that for like a few weeks and then nothing.
right, right.
That
100.
why are we doing that? We need to
And I
continuously.
continuously. I really don't think people understand that once like once the food starts coming over and that's done, and the people calling or texting and people, hey, you okay? But then you're left alone with those feelings. Like even when you lose someone to a natural cause, you're left alone with those feelings. But just losing someone to an injustice where someone unalived them, but you don't know who it is. So now it's kind of like you in your mind, you're probably like, who, like, okay, this person did it. Oh, you listening to everything that everybody's saying, who was there, and you want to hear the story over and over again. So you never really get to heal properly because you have to hear that over and over and over again until it's solved. So then you feel a relief once it's solved.
Yeah, for sure. No, I completely agree. I did a Justice for Just Us episode like maybe a week and a half ago, and
Right,
the case of Xavier Walker here in Denver, Colorado, touches my heart dearly. When I saw them being interviewed, because the interview was in 2016,
right,
and then obviously in these 7 years, nothing's been done. But just watching like the mom grieve her son, her 16-year-old son, and then her husband died a month after that. It's just
right.
like what I mean.
Think grief.
I mean, like how do people take somebody else's life and have like no. I mean, I know people are evil. I mean, I get that part, but like to do that to somebody and then they don't have answers. That young man was murdered almost 21 years ago.
Right, right. So then mom or whoever is connected to him family wise, they still have to deal with that. They still have to fight those feelings and those emotions and not knowing like who, what, And like I said, they never get the opportunity to truly heal from it, not knowing. There's a case going on right now that kind of like has really, like it's really bothered me. And it really bothers me because I have sons. Not only because I have sons, but it's a black male, but I have sons too. And so they're gonna grow up one day and they might take a job out of town in a place that's not familiar to them. I don't know how that mom received those text messages from her son.
Right.
Make sure that we say his name is Rashid Carter,
Rashid Carter.
25, 25 years old. 25 years old. Um, he was in Taylorsville, Mississippi, and um, he was hunted. He was hunted, is what he was. He was hunted. He was hunted, and then he was unalive um, by the time that they found him.
Mm-mm. The way that they beheaded that poor baby, like, I don't know. Like, I just feel like this country takes like 10 steps forward and then like 100 steps back. Like in Mississippi, I mean, I don't know what's up with y'all down there, the South, but y'all got some serious issues, especially because what is that? Y'all got Jim Crow back or something like that. So it's just yeah, they're doing a federal investigation, right, on that case.
Yeah,
I would like.
well, they're doing a federal investigation, but not only that. Now the sheriff, I think it was yesterday, day before yesterday, he was saying that yes, there was foul play. Because at first he was saying there was no foul play. He posted on Facebook when they wrote, on the sidewalk, and he sprayed it, and such so on. So now he's saying, oh well, I never said there was no foul play, but you never did nothing about it. You know what I'm saying? I guess the biggest injustice to me is that this young man went to the police for help.
He,
You know what I'm saying? He went for help, and they just took him to the next town to where there were people that looked like him. You know what I'm saying? Where there were people that looked like him. So then he would have been safe. I mean, it's like it's a shame that we still have to live in a world where we can't go certain places, or I have to tell my kids like, oh no, don't, you know what I'm saying, or be careful of this and watch that. But at the same time, I feel like he would have still been here had they just said, okay, we just gonna take you to the next town to where the people look like you. That simple. And then he could have had his mom come and get him from that place. But
I
again, another young man, African American young man, has lost his life, and nobody don't know nothing. Nobody knows nothing. They just know, oh well, we saw him running. He went to the dollar store. I mean, like he was everywhere around this town. And I'm gonna tell you, so I looked up stuff. I'm like a real researcher when it comes to this stuff. There's only 1,088 people in this town. 1,088 people.
Wow.
87% of the people there are white Americans, and only 39% are Black Americans. It's not that many people in that town for them not to see a person who's not from them running around.
I don't. I don't. I don't know. My whole thing about that is the fact that we still see like race and not see the fact that we all bleed the same. We all go to the bathroom the same. Like I don't like when is that? When are we gonna start seeing the inner and not the outer?
Right.
Like
Right.
when is that gonna happen? Like I'm so tired of that. Like it like I don't know. Like does this country not know that this country is not blessed? Like let me go there. This country will never be blessed. Okay, because I mean look at what we do to each other as people. That we're supposed to love each other, but
Right.
we hate each other. We destroy each other. We damage each other. How can we be blessed? How can oh this is a blessed nation? Bullshit. Excuse me.
It's so crazy. It's crazy you say that because I was riding. I picked my son up from basketball practice this afternoon, and so we were in the car, and we were listening to CNN. And so they were talking about how, like all the different things that were going on in the country. And he was like, Mom, he said, honestly, this country just need to take the flag down. Like, it don't even make sense for them to have it up.
I agree.
I mean, like, I just looked at him like, what? He was like, for real, because listen to all this stuff that's happening on the news. Look, this is not we not free. And I was just shocked that he felt that way. You know what I'm saying? He said they just really need to take the flag down. Like, just take it down. We just gonna do whatever we want to do because that's what's happening. And like I said, I think I feel more for the mom to receive those text messages of who to look for if something happened to me. I don't think I could have read those text messages without like trying to run. And although mom, she didn't have transportation, but she sent someone to get them, and they wouldn't even let him stay at the store. Like the sheriff told him, like, you can't stay here. Well, I'm waiting for a ride so I can leave this town. So I mean, that's probably like the biggest case right now that's like really bothering me. I mean, to dismember a child or somebody's child, um, it's bothersome.
And the rest of the there was a clip that you sent me. They had found some more remains like in
Hmm.
December, and they still haven't identified them yet. And it's March. Well, I mean, what's taking so long? We need all of him, so we know the pieces of what truly
Right,
happened to this young man. Like,
right.
and and then like, okay, so I'm gonna use this as an example. I forget the gentleman's name. Is it Tyree Nichols, Memphis, the one that was killed by the five black officers?
Oh yeah, I believe that was Tyree. I believe it was Tyree.
Did you see how quick they were
So
to?
fast. It was so fast. I was looking at the news the other day, like, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait happened? I was like, wait a minute. I said, now that's the fastest trial I see when it comes to officers in I have not seen nothing move that fast ever. Ever. Even if it's on film, somebody caught the whole thing of stuff and I never seen it move that fast. I promise you. I was so shocked. I was so shocked. And not that I feel bad for the officers, not at all, because they shouldn't have
No,
done that.
no, those, yeah, whatever happens to them
Every case
happens to
to
them.
move that fast. Can we get every case to move that fast? Especially
Exactly.
their video. They still got the what's the youngest child that just was unalived in Mississippi. Oh, I can't think of it. It was a teenager just recently. I can't think of his name though. I cannot think of his name for
I
nothing in the world.
I know what you're
You
talking
know what I'm
about, but
talking
yeah,
about?
I can't think of his name either, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, and so they have the video, they have witnesses, and nothing still has been done.
Is that 12? He was like a 12-year-old boy, right?
I
And
think
he
he was like
was
12, 13. You know what I'm saying? He was a young boy. Nothing has still been done. It went from he had a gun to this and that and the other. Well,
yep.
he was running because he was probably afraid. He didn't hold it. You didn't. I couldn't see anything. I don't know. I'm not a detective. You know what I'm saying? But I know I couldn't see anything.
They they see what they want to see. I told you they're the biggest gang in the country, so they see what
What
they
do
want
you
to see.
think? What do you think? Do you think that the fear would, if they moved a little faster on cases, do you think that the fear that African Americans feel when police or a different race is involved, do you feel that they wouldn't feel so much fear as to like how they feel? Like if the police pulls you over, people they stomach they heart automatically jump to their stomach. Or if it's a case or somebody saying that's a different race, like this person did something to me, like they got this new thing, Karen. You know what I'm saying? Say a Karen called the police. You know what I'm saying? Do you feel like African Americans will feel better if they felt respected or listened to?
No, because one of the things I've learned about our brothers and sisters is that, um, unfortunately, we're still going to find something to complain about,
Mm.
which is unfortunate. Because we're going to be like, oh, this respect's not genuine, start spewing like all the negatives instead of, trying to embrace the positives, which I don't, to be honest, don't blame them because I would probably, I'll be honest, I'll probably, feel the same way. You're respecting me? Like, oh, you're respecting me, officer? That's great.
Right.
Do you have any plans to shoot me or anything? Okay. Like, it's just, like I said, I don't blame them, but we would just never be satisfied. It'll always There always gonna be it's always gonna be something else, unfortunately. It's just how the shit goes. Like,
Right. Do you think that the Jim Crow is going to place us backwards?
Roe v. Wade plays us backwards, so it's already started. Roe v. Wade already started that, so we're
That
already
was the craziest thing I
already
ever
going
did.
back to 1950.
Right, right, 100%.
It's I just don't understand. Like, but like I said, I'm not surprised that it was Mississippi. Um, it's it's the South. Like, the South is still like not trying to be funny, but the South is maybe 10 years behind the West. Still, maybe.
I've heard that. I've heard that before. I've heard that before. And I've seen some things like going to different places because I like to travel different places. Going to different places, I've seen some things that is like, wait a minute, you know what I'm saying? Like, wait, they ain't doing this in the South. You know what I'm saying? Like, this ain't happening. You know, like I've seen encounters with people or situations where people are really vocal and they're really like trying to do something about it. And not saying that people in the South are not trying to do something about it. I just think it's not enough, but then I think it's like blind, it's a blind sight. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't think people really understand how the governor, recently he was saying that he was taking certain books out of the schools. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when I first read this thing, I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, so he's taking the first word was pornography books. So I was like, when the heck we got pornography books in school?
Exactly.
I was like, when did this happen? Because there's no pornography. But the brain works this way. When you see the first word, you're gonna attach an emotion to that. So when you attach emotion to that, it's going to carry throughout the whole reading. You understand what I'm
Right.
saying? So
Right.
he put pornography and then he put racially motivated books. So he wanted you to have, because when you break down racially motivated books, those are books about African Americans, Asians, Spanish, any race that is not a white race. And people like, oh, that's my favorite governor. Really?
Rob DeSantis, right? Rob DeSantis, or
Mm-hmm.
is that how you say that dude's name, right? That was
Yeah, Ron,
governor.
yeah, yeah.
That fool. Yeah, and I can call you a fool, sir, because that's my First Amendment right. But yeah, I just do not understand that. I'm just like, and that's what I'm talking about. Mississippi and Florida are just the beginning, and then I'm not trying to be rude. Florida, y'all always in some stuff.
You sound like everybody who I talk to. They like, what?
Okay,
They
Florida,
want
like let's
you
let's
to
let,
get
let's
out of
call
Florida.
let's call Florida what it is. Y'all are always in some shit. I'm like,
They tell me all the
Jesus. I'm
time, like,
like,
you need to leave. leave Florida right now. Because there's always something going on down there. Like now y'all gonna take people kids because the child does you like
it blows my mind. Like there was a case here in Colorado Springs. A mom, or a stepmom, she murdered her stepson, and his body was found in Pace. I don't know where Pace is, but it's in Florida somewhere. So I was just like, Florida, like what? Like I always told myself when I go there, I ain't drinking y'all water because
yeah.
I can't like I
I'm
can't.
still, and I don't think people. I don't think they paying attention. Like I honestly don't think they really paying attention and understanding how serious some of these things are. Like to find opioids and meth and all this stuff that the FDA should have been already looking at, but to find traces of this stuff, and then they only put where like we found traces of this stuff, but they didn't tell the people like we found traces in this stuff in the lower income areas. You see what I'm saying? And I'm like, y'all
Oh
listen,
Lord.
like listen, are y'all paying attention to what's happening here? We got a couple of comments. I'm gonna read these comments, y'all, but Holly and I can probably talk all night about this stuff. So it said, Miss Mary said the devil is busy always. We must respect ourselves before we
Always.
respect others. We have to be better. We have to better know. We have to do better to know better. Um, racism will racism will never change. We can only
That's
try
true.
to move forward and keep making changes. That's good.
Agreed.
That's good.
Agreed. That's what we're
That's
doing. We're trying.
yep. Just trying to make a change. It's just hard to get people to stay consistent to the change because they don't see it automatically.
No. No.
They don't see it.
Um, when it comes to that too, if I can talk to just my people real quick. We have to do better to each other as
Mm,
well. We cry out, oh, the man, the man, the man, right? But what about respecting your fellow brother, your fellow sister? I mean, the shit that we do to each other every day is disgusting. If I can
right,
just go there, like we have to, for other. I don't know if it's like certain if y'all don't care about respect from another race, fine. But if you care about having respect from another fellow human, we have to respect ourselves first. Like
right,
it's just absolutely ridiculous how like a man can see a successful man walking down the street with his nice watch, his nice chain that he worked overtime at his waste management job to get, and then you see it, oh, I need a quick come up and rob him. I'm like, when are we going to stop that mentality? We
right.
need to stop thinking like cavemen and start thinking like modern men. Like it's just I'm over that. I had to say that because that bothers me too. Like
Well, I 100% agree with you. I don't know. Like, I don't know how else to say it to people. Like, first of all, you can't take things that don't belong to you. You know what I'm saying? And then, secondly, if you continue to steal and you continue to act like savages, then they're going to continue to call us savages. You know what I'm saying? Like, my frustration is that people always like, I'm a king, queen, I'm a king, I'm a queen, but then it's like you jealous of your sister, you fighting with this person, and I know like they say, oh well, this happened like in from the beginning of time. Who said that? Who said that?
right.
I know y'all ain't talking about some. Don't tell me nothing about what man said. Don't
Okay.
tell me nothing about that. Because I feel like things are choices. You have the choice, and I know like it's dire times, it's hard times, it's barely job. Well, I'm not gonna say it's barely jobs because there are jobs. It's just that people they got lazy during COVID.
Very.
They got lazy, so now they don't want to work. But at the same time, at what point can we be like I'm gonna explain it this way. I saw this TikTok one time. It was an African American guy on there. He was like crying. He was in his car. He telling this story. He telling the story how his neighbors across the street was building a house, and he was like, his neighbor came over, told him, "Hey, we finna be making a lot of noise out here. I'm finna fix up my house." Anyway, so he was like, okay, that's fine, that's fine, that's fine, that's fine. You can do that, it's fine. He said, a bunch of trucks pulled up. Now his neighbor is a Mexican guy. He said they finished doing this whole house in like a week. So he asked him, oh, so you have hired some contractors? He said, no, those are my friends. These are my friends. We get so jealous of one another that we can't even build each other up. Because it doesn't take nothing for like it doesn't take nothing because one thing I'll do is like people who have a podcast, you can get on my podcast for a couple of episodes, build your thing up, and then you can go back on your own or you can come and stay with me. It doesn't matter. Oh, you need to know some kind of resource that's going on. I'm not the gatekeeper of that resource. Here, this who you call right here. This what you get right here. But you got people
Mhm.
like, don't tell nobody that I gave you that information. Now you done got what you need. Now you want to gatekeep the information. No.
Selfishness. It's straight selfishness. People. Let me tell you, some people are so selfish. That's what I'm saying. No progression. Like you guys. I mean, like not you guys. Well, excuse me, not y'all guys. But let's like certain people are just so selfish, y'all, and it's just like I said. How do y'all expect to progress if you're keeping yourself from progressing? Like there's no progression here. Like we're like I told somebody. I said black people, we're still in the same place. The only difference is technology has advanced.
That's it. And I don't think people really understand that. I told people, I said, do y'all realize that when you go to like I live in Tampa. So when I go to one section of Tampa, the city has the grass cut. They putting down. They got nice palm trees, and palm trees are expensive. The
Okay.
medium looks so good. I mean, they just do it up in one section. But then as you drive closer to other sections, the city not cutting the grass. I don't see no pretty palm trees. And I be getting frustrated because I be like, okay, we all need to just go to the meetings and start complaining because now I know the city don't just work on one side of the town.
Exactly. And everybody pays taxes.
And they
Ooh,
do that to control the minds. Because when you wake up in the morning and you see like nothing cut or you see bums on the street or you see, like you see a bunch of negative stuff, you're going to get up in a negative mindset. But when you wake up and you walk outside your house and you see like the ground is, it look like heaven. So
yes.
then you're gonna wake up in a positive mindset. So as soon as we realize like they keep us down in this situation like this in order to control the mind and control what we do, because then we feel like there's no hope. There's no hope. When I walk out of my, when I heard a young man told me one time, he said, when I house, Mr. Marshall, he said, I see bums, I see crackheads, and I see people who I know are killers. He said, sometimes I just want to go back in the house and just and dream. I don't even want to wake up. And some of that I blame on the city because this is their land.
No,
This is
seriously.
100% their land.
But
And they
it's
could come there.
go ahead. But I was just saying it's not their land though. They took this land from Indians. But let's
A whole nother story.
it just ooh can we talk about that part? Sorry, did not mean to cut you off, but when you said it's their land, like every time I hear that, that makes my skin crawl. Like no, no. Okay,
Well, you know what I mean. You know what I mean.
I know it was just
I'm
oh
here and fix this up. But yeah,
just
you know they stole the land. That's a whole nother podcast. Whole nother one. A whole nother one. So, but I told you I wasn't gonna keep
yeah.
you long. And I know we probably done people probably like, man, they done really gave us some real black topics tonight. So
Okay.
something that I always tell people to leave with something positive, motivative, something that will help the people do better, be better, learn something, understand something. What are you leaving them with?
The thing I always leave people with is I'm just gonna go back to something that Miss Mary James said in the comments. If you know better, you do better. So um, do better because you deserve better. Um, get out of these mindsets, y'all. Like I said, we've been doing the same thing for 400 years, and it ain't worked yet. So let's try something new. Cause
Right.
yeah, it's time for better because we deserve that.
100%. 100%. And not to make anybody feel bad or anything like that, but these are topics that are like touche or the elephants in the room and nobody don't really want to discuss them. But in order for us to grow as a people, we got to expose everything. We have to
Everything.
expose everything so then we can talk about it. Because when you start talking, you start healing. And when you start healing, you start growing. So give them your morning mimosa tag so they can listen to your podcast. I know I'll be sharing, but give them your information.
So you guys can find Morning Mimosas on Facebook. It's morning. You just type in Morning Mimosas and we come up. And then on Instagram, it's Morning Mimosas CO. And then if for our audio listeners, because we also have just audio interviews, it was Anchor. It's now called Spotify for podcasters. So we're also on there as well.
All right, y'all heard what she said. And if they want to support you in what you're doing as far as the activist group, how can they support you in that if they want to support you or join?
Hooey. I mean, I did have a GoFundMe to help with a lot of that, but that'll be on the Morning Mimosas page if you guys want to help support that, because I'll be traveling to different states, talking to different wrongfully convicted brothers and sisters. So um, if y'all want to support in that way, fine. But if y'all want to do the free support, like, share, and subscribe, y'all.
It's easy. Like, share, and subscribe. Y'all, thank you for being on the show today, Holly. I really appreciate you. We had a good conversation. I didn't keep you
Sure
that
did.
long. And y'all will see her
Okay.
again. They did good, though. They did real good.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's my baby boy. Shh.
Miss Mary said, thank you. I will be looking for you.
Right. Thank
All
you
right,
so
y'all.
much.
So I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. And that's it. Good night, everybody.